And we are now live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. We have a couple of new guests on today, but we want to do like we normally do. They're going to be typing things in the chat so you guys can sub to the channel because I want to make sure they get subs and support their channels as we always do. And we're going to start off first with Thomas. Please tell us a little bit about your channel and what you do.
Hey guys, so my name is Thomas, and I recently just started uploading a few videos about what I want my channel to be, which is about why I'm a geek and the geek culture. So come and check me out at Thomas Gilkey, please.
Rookie.
All right, I am the Rookie Critic. How's it going, guys? I do movie reviews, film topics, YouTuber appreciation, and the Rookie Corner podcast. On this Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, I got Bandit Incorporated as my special guest, along with Proper Jeremy and with Black Angus Reviews. I have other projects going along the way, but I'll save those for later. So, on to the next one.
Jesse.
Hi, how you doing? My name is Jesse Miller. My channel is Jesse Miller at the Crow's Nest. I'm going to leave it in the chat real quick, but we've been getting behind this little GoFundMe, and it's for feeding children that need food. Who can't get behind that? $5 makes a difference.
Heck yeah.
I am Flipped Out, and I'm here to hang out and talk some space stuff. On my channel, we talk Star Wars, pop culture in general. I do a weekly news roundup called The Flip Side, and proud member of the Phantom Collective, and just glad to be here.
Brian.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brian the Observer. I have a YouTube channel called Brian the Observer, and I talk about whatever. I talk about audio engineering. I talk about fighting dirty. I talk about general Comicsgate stuff. And like Jesse said, there's a GoFundMe. A little bit goes a long way. We're gonna help we're gonna help starving children. And I have a book coming out later on. I got something in the works.
Oh my God. Mazer says, oh my God, my farts are out of this world right now. Good thing I'm not on the mic. Okay, and y'all know me and you know what I do on this channel. The biggest thing I want to keep touching on is make sure you sub to each other, support each other, hit the thumbs up, share if you want to share, but just make sure you support each other. That's the biggest thing, and help each other's channels grow. That's the most important part right there. We're a family and we help each other get to the top together. So thanks everybody for being here, and we are going to start the show off. And as usual, I will probably sit in the back a little quiet and let everybody talk. So and jump in when needed to.
I got something.
Okay.
This is just a little article just to get us started on the topic, I guess. The United States Defense Intelligence Agency has one great fear: that someone somewhere has an unknown advantage, a secret weapon that could topple the world's sole superpower from its perch. So when it hears talk of UFOs, Stargates, and warp drives, it takes it seriously enough to spend some serious money on it. Documents released under a Freedom of Information request confirmed that the DIA went full X-Files and established teams to examine almost every seemingly outlandish idea it encountered, just in case. Now, Federation of American Scientists Project on Government Secrecy Director Stephen Aftergood has gotten his hands on some previously classified papers that reveal just how far the DIA was prepared to go. So what are your guys' thoughts on the Defense Intelligence Agency keeping things from the American people and from the world? And where do you stand on the deep state?
Well, I'll chime in on that. A long time ago, I read that if you have the opportunity to take the upper hand and you don't, you're being irresponsible. So I don't think they're telling us half of what they can do or what they know.
I do know that my dad used to always tell me the government doesn't tell you everything. So there are things going on that you don't know about.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, in a way, how do we benefit from knowing? Yeah, there's giant weapons that can destroy a bunch of things that can topple us. Maybe, yeah, okay, go back today, guys. It kind of makes sense why they keep some things hidden.
I
Well,
actually
just look
don't.
what happens to the.
Go ahead.
Go on. Oh, just look what happens to anyone who does any whistleblowing. They either get ridiculed and called a lunatic, or they somehow disappear, or they consequently commit suicide, quote unquote. So it's really at your own detriment to try to expose things. The best thing to do is like take what has been exposed and expound upon them.
I agree with that.
I don't necessarily believe that the what do they call those lines that the airplanes make? The oh Lord,
The streams.
yeah, like they have a name for them, but I don't think they're trying to drug us and put things in the atmosphere, so to speak. But I do think it's odd, some of the things I've seen about it, and they're definitely trying to keep us from learning more about the whatever they're called. But
Chemtrails.
chemtrails. Thank you. What do you guys think about chemtrails?
Oh, I'm undecided on that one because I don't know if it's supersonic flight breaking, breaking the sound barrier or whatever, leaving a trail, or if they're just dropping chems. It's really hard to tell. I mean, sometimes in the sky you see a definite checkerboard pattern, which is a little disconcerting.
I think in. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm going off too much. Go ahead, please do.
Okay, thank you. I think in terms of chemtrails, I don't think they're trying to drug us or anything. I just think it's the condensation from the sky, or maybe some of the clouds.
Well, I heard I heard two different theories about the chemtrails. The first theory is that it's actual something that's going to hurt our actual DNA and cause us to age faster and get sick more, so we have to go to the doctor more. And then I also heard that it actually embeds more metals into our body, so we're more trackable. Even if we get 100% off the grid, they can still find us.
That's a new. That last one's a new one on me. I didn't hear that one yet.
That's a very interesting theory.
There
They
were
learned it
some
from X-Men.
colleges.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
It's a good comic series too.
that's where I learned it.
Yeah, I learned that. I mean, obviously, I watched a lot of YouTube, but I learned. I think that some college out there, a couple of them, have been doing research on what the chemtrails actually are, and have gone up with RC planes and real planes and such to capture some of the whatever the debris those are. And apparently, they found that it contained aluminum oxide. I'm not sure what that is, but it does sound like a metal.
Yeah, aluminum oxide could be used to make explosives.
God.
It's like basically if you were to take down a chunk of aluminum, right, and you ground it into powder into dust, then what you do is you bake it at I can't remember. I think it's 180 something degrees or whatever until it turns black. Then it's aluminum oxide, and that just means that it's gone through the state of matter change enough where it's begun, so that once you make an explosive at it, it will actually go boom.
Kind of like a works bomb.
Yeah.
You ever heard of those? Put a little bit of aluminum foil in a plastic bottle with works
Yep.
bathroom cleaner.
Yep. Some chemical reaction and under pressure, bad things happen.
Why would they want to put that in us?
I have no idea. I'm not nuts.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, they literally are spreading that. I've never been one on the conspiracy of chemtrails. Like, I was hoping maybe one of you guys might be able to enlighten me a little bit more, because I honestly don't. I know that they have literally done studies and found that it is aluminum oxide. There's some other chemicals in it too, but I just can't imagine what that would be used for. You say the aging process? Yeah, I imagine over time that would be a detriment to your health. But, I also heard another theory, maybe you guys might have heard of this one, that the aliens that do live among us that look like people, They need it to block out the sun, something like that.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
That makes sense, actually.
I don't know. That was just one, but so last time we were talking last week, I believe Stephanie Janicek was here, and she had started talking about Oumuamua, this cigar-shaped probe that went by Earth and went around the sun within just a few weeks, I guess. That had to be moving like super fast, and then as it went by Earth, it sped up on its own somehow. I remember I made the joke that it's funny they had every instrument poking at watching the sky and looking at this thing, but they couldn't get a picture of it. But cigar-shaped UFOs are very it's the norm. Between if it's not a disc, it's usually like a cigar shape.
Oh, I got your answer, by the way.
Go, please, yes.
Oh, aluminum has not been classified with respect to carcinogenity. However, aluminum production has been classified as carcinogenic to humans by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. So that means if they drop it on you, there's no research saying that it's cancerous, but it is.
Oh, right.
It does.
There you go.
It does promote Alzheimer's. That's why I try to use aluminum-free deodorant.
I heard that about aluminum smoke a long time ago. Now that you mention that, like when it gets really heated up.
So they're making us stupid one way or another.
Yeah, stupid and dead.
Yep.
Look at overpopulation. Because of world wars, we actually, limited our population. And in China, if you have a second daughter, I think something about they'll make you abort it or whatever the thing is there. Do you think they're trying to limit us?
To a point. I mean, a lot of people worry about that, and a lot of people say that it all levels itself out naturally, and both sides have evidence, so to say. So who's to say?
Georgia Guidestones tell you all you need to know about their plans for depopulation, not letting the world get over 500 million, which it is, but that's their goals, to have it reduced to 500 million people.
Now, do you think that's because of resources, or do you think it's simply because a small group can only control so many people?
Probably the latter. I mean, look right now. I mean, whether you like or don't like what the president's doing, he wasn't supposed to be the hand-picked president, and it's evidenced through the media, and apparently they didn't rig it enough, and now we have a president that they really don't want.
Why am I not 50 points ahead, you may ask yourself? That's what I'm asking myself.
Yeah.
Gave them all the money and some of the plutonium.
Speaking of population limitations, there's a unique thing at the Denver airport. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of.
Oh gosh, that's creepy.
There's a Freemason a time capsule where it says, this time capsule beneath this stone contains messages and memorabilia to the people of Colorado in 2094. That is a very specific date, 2094.
Yeah, it is.
So I wonder what that means, especially since under that particular airport there are all kinds of tubes, tunnels, and
maglev train tunnels.
Yeah. It was. They were talking about the engineers that put it together or helped put it together. They said, they had to build everything underground before they started on the top.
You want to hear something cool? You ever play Grand Theft Auto online?
Yeah.
If you go down under the ground and under the highway, the big T highway, you'll see where the left-hand tunnel is blocked off by this big thing, and then you can only go on the right side. But that thing on the left is actually a nuclear-powered tunnel boring machine. And in some of the tunnels in that game, they actually have the right walls that look like glass. But that's how they move massive amounts of dirt underground. What it does is the front end is like 20 feet, 30 feet tall, and it just grinds it. And it forces it inward with water hoses, like off of a fire truck, and it forces it into the core where it's superheated, and that turns the outside into glass as it goes through.
Wow.
They're amazing. They've had them since the 80s.
Sounds like a low tone whistle.
Could you imagine if that was going underfoot? Do you think you'd even know?
Well, there have been sightings, or not sightings, but audio all around the world that people are reporting earthquakes, and then when they ask the local, can't remember what the profession is, seismologists. They at first they're like, yeah, that I don't know what that was, but it sounded like an earthquake, and then they check their equipment, and then the next day they come back and they're like, oh no, that wasn't an earthquake. I don't know what you're talking about. Like somebody got to them and told them to shut up.
I
Maybe
believe
that's
it.
the reason.
I think a lot of people are told to shut up and then they just do, and it just goes because they don't understand why they were told to shut up, because to them it's minor. It's not totally out of context.
They have power. I mean, we have so little. If they came to me and said, hey, you will retract your alien video or whatever, because if you don't, we're going to ruin your life. I mean, of course I would. I'd have to think of my parents and my kids. And
I'm such an idiot that the first thing out of my mouth would be, really cool. I'd be like, okay, what part was right? I mean, which part was wrong?
Right.
Wink, wink.
Have you heard of deep underground military bases?
Oh God, that's one of my favorite topics.
I mean, when they have, apparently there's aliens that run what goes on underground. You can't go too far underground or else you'll get eaten.
That's supposed to be Dulce.
Dulce, yeah. And somebody named Schneider, Rick Schneider, or
yeah, didn't he get killed?
Yes.
Yes.
Incidentally, he apparently strangled himself. Not hang. He didn't hang himself, but he strangled himself to death with that rubber hose that doctors use for whatever.
Oh, that would take some ingenuity. Exactly. But not no hanging.
No hanging. Just strangled himself.
I'm trying to picture how I can manage this, and I don't think I could.
With a stethoscope?
Is it? I'm picturing the air hoses that go to like a nasal cannula.
Oh,
I think I heard rubber hose, and then they said something about a medical rubber hose or something like that. So that's the only thing I can say about it.
Yep. He Rottweilered himself to death.
Pretty much. His name was Phil Schneider.
He managed to put a boot mark on his own back.
Yeah, no doubt. He had a little girl, and apparently he was an engineer for these bases you're talking about. He was an engineer, but he was more into the geological study end of it, so that he could, say, okay, this is where we dig, or this is how far, or whatever.
Yeah, there's one of those under a hotel. There's a whole bunch of those all around the United States.
Yeah, Phil Schneider, he was with some, I guess, workers and some Marines, and they went down into a cavern where they were interested in, starting an underground base. And when they went down there, they were lowered in this elevator, the type of elevator, a construction elevator.
Mm-hmm.
So they got down there, and then a couple more Marines came down, and so there were a handful of them down there. But they kind of shined the light in the corner. I'm just kind of gisting this from what my memory is. And they shined a light, and they saw this being standing there, super tall. And I think Phil or one of the other guys pulled their weapon and started shooting. And then they started coming out of the woodwork. Do what?
The wrong move.
Definitely. Man, if you guys ever get a chance to listen to Phil Schneider's or find it online, it's an intense story. He says, make no mistake, they can get injured and you can kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, but the stink down there was unbelievable. And once the firefight started, he had one Marine help him get to the elevator, and he threw him in and pushed the button. And it waved its hand in front of its abdomen, and a blue light or something came out, and it killed the Marine and took Phil's fingers off. I don't know. Have you guys heard this story?
Actually, I have heard a story like that. Sometimes I have like conspiracy stuff while I'm doing stuff, so sometimes I pay half attention, sometimes I pay full attention.
Yeah. I usually go ahead.
Actually, I was just reading into this Phil Schneider person, and I find it very interesting is that um, he believed that there were 7 benevolent alien species living on Earth and 4 evil species, and that there's a theory that the U.S. government had signed 4 treaties with the aliens in 1944, 1954, 1962, and 1979. The treaty in 54 was signed between the government and species of gray aliens.
Hey, do me a favor. Now look up the Russian alien book. Go through that a little bit. That's fucking freaky. Sorry,
Russian alien book?
Yep.
All right.
It's really weird, and it's gotten bigger over the years.
Russian.
I haven't heard of that, bro.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm a nerd, dude.
Well, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, supposedly this book was found in somebody's garage sale originally, but it was super detailed and it was written in Russian. So they researched it and they got back to where it came from. They weren't supposed to have it, so they shut up and they just didn't say anything after that. But over the years, different ones came out.
I found a description of it on Amazon. The secrets of the Russians' contact with aliens that was guarded by the KGB. Has this book put us a giant leap ahead in the search for answers about the extraterrestrials. Ever since the book of alien races was translated from Russian into English by Dante Santori, a former Special Forces sergeant from Europe, this secret book has created a major stir among researchers. The USSR throughout history has been a treasure trove of information on ETs and their craft. The original 1946 book was written to inform KGB agents of the various alien races who had visited our planet, and also was used as a notebook by secret agents as they constantly made additions and revisions to the original startling information over the years.
That's it.
Damn.
I accidentally downloaded the PDF here. This is crazy. I didn't know I was doing that.
Well, now they're tracking you.
It seems like really interesting.
Oh, it is, but it's hard to find good YouTube videos about it. There's only like 2. I kept searching after I saw the first one.
No,
Hey,
go on. Okay, I mean, I was gonna say that some of these beings were known to sell people a bill of goods, like when you look at the Nazis, when the whole super race of supermen with the blonde hair, blue eye people of the what's that race they call themselves?
Nephilim, I think.
The Ubermensch. Yeah, the Nordics. Yeah, I was talking about the words they use for themselves. Aryan race, that's it. And and basically they saw these beings, and so they thought that if we purify the human race to be blonde hair, blue eyes, we'll be just like them. And that's where they get that idea from.
Because Hitler was supposed to be all about the occult, right?
What's that?
I said Hitler was supposed to be all about the occult.
Oh, big time. Yeah, they kind of go hand in hand from time to time.
Yep. The Nazis were very efficient at making submarines, but as far as science goes, they were pretty freaking dumb.
Agreed.
They did a lot of like horrific experiments that were like, you know, they're not going anywhere, but they did them anyway.
Well, I think they just did it because they were curious and they wanted to see, you know, if they were going to go anywhere. Because as you guys have said, Hitler was interested in the occult, so they maybe figured, you know, maybe they could try doing something like with the experiments that would delve into the occult factor.
Yeah, they tried to recreate the flying saucer, and you actually see some flying saucer wreckage that have swastikas and stuff on there. Those were made by the Nazis.
That was going to be their super weapon. That's what they were working on. Yeah.
Well, they did make that fabric that was stealth, but they could never get it to work right on a plane.
Yeah, I find the Nazis' interest in UFOs extremely interesting. They had Die Glocke, which ended up disappearing or something. And then they had, of course, the other UFOs. You can see black and white photos of those with the swastikas and crosses on them.
What about the Nazi bases in Antarctica? Sorry, that was a tongue twister for me.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you go around Antarctica, you will find Nazi bases to this day that were just abandoned.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard stuff about Antarctica, like the Operation Long Jump, where it was Admiral Byrd, and apparently there's a place in Antarctica that is completely subtropical, according to the reports.
It's called the Savage Land.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think Stan Lee was on the summit with the Savage Land.
You know, I don't want to sound like a weirdo, but I always thought the Garden of Eden was under the Antarctica, because how else, make it so you can't go there?
Well, now you're getting into the whole Earth theory, the open whole Earth.
Hollow Earth theory.
Hollow Earth. There you go. Yeah.
How's that go? Is it more than just people are living inside the Earth besides Doomcock?
After after Admiral Byrd went up there for Operation High Jump, he lost. He took 4,000 people up there, 4,000 men, and came back with like 800, 900, something like that. And
Good job, bro.
They sent him back up there with like in a plane with somebody else, I don't know, and they flew into the Hollow Earth. And what's interesting about that, whether you believe that Hollow Earth is there or not, that they still do not allow satellites to fly over the Arctic pole or the Antarctic pole. And of course, when the ISS cameras get near that area, they shut the cameras down and they don't allow pictures. So something's going on at the extreme, pole regions of both sides of the planet.
Can I ask you a question about something that might be related? I want to see if it is. You ever hear about down in Antarctica, there's supposed to be some kind of base that exudes an energy pattern?
Yeah, it's actually
Is that it?
visible.
Like pyramid, right?
No, well, there's what he's talking about. I think is it's something. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, right next to the pyramid.
When they showed it, it was kind of like looking at that storm on Jupiter compared to the surrounding area.
Yes, high gravitational field too.
Is that do you think that has anything to do with that Hollow Earth theory?
It could. I think they're related somehow. Whether there's a hole there and it's a hollow Earth or not, there's definitely something very strange going on up there that they would have all these military personnel and these presidents from different countries. And
yeah, because not for nothing, if they did find someplace like that, it would be irresponsible not to build a base there, right? It needs a gatekeeper.
Well, what's interesting also is that every single country, well, the major powers anyway in the world, each country, I think there's like 10 or 12 countries have all agreed never to fire a shot against one another, and they all basically own it conjointly. So that's kind of strange. Why would they all, want peace in this one crappy region, of sub-zero temperatures?
So, guys, really quick, we have Mox Rocks on the show tonight. Also, he just joined us.
How you doing, Mox Rocks?
Hey, buddy.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Good.
Pretty damn good. I'm liking this group.
Wait till Thursday.
Having a beer and talking about aliens.
Wait till Thursday. We talk about ghosts.
I saw a ghost a long time ago. It scared the crap out of me.
I went paranormal hunting in college, and that was creepy as hell.
Yeah, I would think so. Because you go to places that you're not supposed to.
Exactly, like classrooms that were where entities were detected.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah,
Let's go to the local mental hospital.
I'm trying to. Oh my god! What? Oh my god! There's a big mental hospital in either Waterford or New London.
Mm-hmm. I always wanted to go to that one that's on an island in New York, but they don't let you out there. You'd have to sneak in straight up.
You could just sneak in at the dead of night.
Brian, where were you saying you were working?
I was saying I did some work over at a historic theater. I would go there from time to time and do a gig, and that there's been reports of it being haunted, and people that I've worked with said swear they saw stuff. I never saw anything, but I have felt stuff. So it's one thing to know old playhouses and mental hospitals are a hotbed for that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, actors love the theatrical. That's fun when you're a ghost.
So I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna switch it up just a little and see if we can include Rookie a little bit. You still there, buddy?
Well, no, sorry, I've been so distracted, man. I don't have anything ready to talk about with it, so I haven't really been able to contribute right now.
It's like I'm busy working my ass off over here.
Well, like over the weekend, I had double shifts and back to back, so it was like closing, opening, closing, opening, closing, like all back to back. Then
You know what's good about that?
my
Money.
nephew walked this morning, and he just left like an hour ago, and I'm like, ugh.
Hey, it's all good, man. You do good work.
Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely. I know, Rookie, you know a lot about exoplanets, and your interest lies in just the actual science of the space and everything.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm trying to look this up here. There's over 300 new candidate planets, exoplanets, that they found just in January.
Really?
Yes, and 8 of them are confirmed planets, not gas giants. 8 out of 300. That's not bad.
That'd be the rocky planets, by the way.
Okay.
With the size of the universe, I always thought it was arrogant to think that we were by ourselves. We're not that unique.
Well, yeah, there's actually, even right now, they're still doing research on at least 200 planets to make sure that, like, these are all ones that are Earth-like as far as they can tell, as far as what they know so far, where, like, they're in the habitable zone of stars that are similar to our sun.
They're M-class planets.
Yeah, so, like, as far as we know, they don't have life, but as far as we know, they are the closest candidates to have life as we know it. So they're still researching into that. I think what they're trying to do is make some type of telescope that can better read the actual, like, temperature and of the planet, so they can tell how warm or cold it is. So they're working on next, and then that'll really help them determine whether or not it's possible for life to be there.
I can't remember, but is it about 100 Earths you can fit in Jupiter? Something like that?
I think more.
Maybe more. Yeah. Might be 1,000.
But since like 200, 300 years ago, what was it? Something like that, where people were just looking at a planet through a telescope and trying to measure it by angles to where we are now. It's crazy.
Yeah, pretty much. Now it's a whole new game, pretty much.
Yeah. Star Trek, man.
Yeah, Star Trek, if only. In some ways, we're beyond it, but we haven't left our own planet yet.
Yeah.
We're ready, but it's not there.
Dude, if they made a Star Trek Enterprise ship, you know my ass would be on that thing.
Hell yeah.
You know how fast people sign up for the Space Force?
Darn right.
Like, do we get cool uniforms?
Yeah.
Who designed the uniforms? Was it the original series, or was it Next Generation, or was it like Enterprise?
Just don't give me a red shirt. I do not want a red shirt.
Nope.
Speaking of Enterprise, they're actually going to have the guy who played Commander Riker from the Next Generation at Pensacon.
Interesting.
I hope he scans first.
Well, speaking of Star Trek, the Deep State supposedly already has a space force, and they already have intergalactic warships up there. Just like they say, there's bases on the other side of the moon and everything.
How do you get in on this?
Right?
If they advertise, they'd be so much bigger.
Well, what's kind of funny is, so if they can do that, if they already have a space force, okay, and what definition do they have a space force? Like, they can fly from here to the moon in like a fighter jet type of ship or something? Like what?
As I understand it, like battleship size, warships up there, at least 2. Gary McKinnon, the guy that hacked into NASA in the 90s, he confirmed that he saw at least one of them, and it was basically the shape of a cigar, but it looked more like a submarine, I guess. And then he said that there were some things, some classified documents on the computer that said off-world officers, and there were like some 30 of those, which I thought was pretty interesting. So you put together with what Gary McKinnon found and some of the other stuff you hear about the deep state, it makes you think, makes you wonder. But yeah, I guess it would be battleships of some sort.
See, this is where my mind splits on the subject into like the plan A and plan B paths, because it all depends on whether or not we can actually master what they call hyperspace or warp drive or wherever basically you envelope the ship and have space move around it so you can break the speed of light, right?
Yeah,
So,
right now, I think ion energy was the closest that we have to being top speed in space.
yeah, so like if you can't do that yet, you're gonna have to go for like a space station, like a badass space station.
Well,
right?
That's actually something that they've worked on. The International Space Station. I think it's either with that or with another project where they're trying to make it so more parts can easily connect to it and try to make like a legitimate station up there. But then also they're also trying to make a hotel.
Hey, you got a party.
Intergalactic Marriott.
Intergalactic planetary.
Yeah.
Now this was like back in
Know what you can charge for that?
2008 or 10 when I heard this on a documentary where they're like it was Machio Keiko, Neil deGrasse Tyson, or something. They're all talking like, oh yeah, they're
all
gonna
the big boys.
But then again, I think they said they'd have that by 2016. So if they don't by now, I mean,
Yeah, they're still working on it, man. The luxury space hotel is supposed to launch in 2021. Trying to pull it up here.
Oh, they moved the date. Okay.
For space tourists, it'll be an orbital destination.
Do they have their liquor license?
It's supposed to be like so Donald Trump, Bill Gates, and like all those guys to be able to go, basically. But not us.
Yeah, it says it's affordable relative to the term. A 12-day stay aboard Aurora Station will start at $9.5 million.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, well, because they have to do like your body weight in gold or some shit, and that's
wow. I better lose weight.
Yeah, pretty much. You have to, otherwise they won't let you up.
Is that really the deal? Like, is it back in the day, like submarine dudes?
What's that?
Like back in the day on a submarine, you wouldn't get it on the submarine unless you were the tip-top guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Except for it's probably cheaper to get on the submarine than to go to the hotel.
Oh yeah, they made you do that.
Exactly.
Apparently, this company is called Orion, and Orion Span, and they're building Aurora Station itself. The company some of whose key engineering players have helped design and operate the ISS is manufacturing the hotel in Houston and developing the software required to run it in the Bay Area, he said. Size of a large private jet's cabin. It'll measure 43 by 14 feet. Yeah, it's not very big though. It's pretty.
Well, no, it would be like the size of a normal house. I think would be like the actual size of the whole hotel, and the rooms would be probably half the size of an average room, maybe.
Imagine just like partying in the house on the moon. You need a DJ. You gotta bring a DJ.
I don't get what you'd be doing up there. I mean, maybe if there's some blue titty milk, then it'd be okay. But I don't know.
There's gonna be some kind of titty milk.
Yep.
Day said, "Who's gonna be the space station maid?"
Rosie from the Jetsons.
No. I had to kill Elroy. He was just too dirty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fox Rock says Ryan Johnson and KK. They will be the maids. They will need work soon. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
You could have them do the repairs outside.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, repairs without spacesuits.
Expectations.
Yeah, repairs without spacesuits is a great idea.
Like, hi Ryan, your new name is Star Lord. Hold your breath.
Senate Dave wants to be the hotel manager.
Speaking of Space Force, in August 2018, in a speech at the Pentagon on Thursday that same day, Vice President Mike Pence announced more details for the Space Force, a proposed sixth branch of the U.S. military.
Hell yeah.
He says, just as in the past when we created the Air Force, the Space Force is an idea whose time has come. The space environment has fundamentally changed in the last generation. What was once peaceful and uncontested is now crowded and adversarial. Whoa, adversarial.
Well, I don't know if that's what they exactly mean, but I do know that there's a metal ring around the planet, and I know that the Dutch or something have been trying to clean up that shit so we don't destroy all our ships when they leave orbit, but...
Thank you, Dutch.
God bless those Dutch.
Yep. Well, it's funny too because they have the cheaper space station and all, or the cheaper budget for the stuff, but they still managed to make the machines that would do it. But we like, we don't want to.
Hey, Rookie, can you talk for a little bit about the current space station and how do you think it's going to hold up in the future, given the age it is and all that?
The current space station. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of, they've made jokes about it for years. Even like Armageddon, they go up there and it's like, it's held together with glue and gum.
Oh, with the International Space Station?
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't know the actual stuff about it currently. I haven't seen any updates on how it's doing, but I imagine that it will last maybe, just based on how long it's been up there, maybe another 10 years or so. Maybe longer. It really kind of depends because they've been able to keep things together pretty well. Once they get things working, and as long as they know they can repair stuff and have repaired things before, they can keep it going for quite a long time. So
shouldn't they use that as like a job site of sorts to build a better thing?
Well, that's kind of what I was saying before. I don't know if they're going to try to make a whole new station or if they're just going to use the International Space Station as a springboard to build other, to attach other stuff to it, to enhance it, to improve upon, to make it grow.
The space station is modular.
I read somewhere that the space station is the most expensive man-made object ever made, but is that true? Because you think about the CERN, the particle collider that they have.
Oh God, those are scary as hell.
Well, yeah, but you have to constantly keep people alive in the space collider thing, so for dozens of years.
Now, if it's modular, has the whole thing basically been replaced at this point?
Most of the entire space station's been replaced or repaired at this point.
Oh, that's good to know. So they could just use that as a core and build right off of that.
Yeah, that'd be the idea, and they want it to be so things can be detachable, so it's not just one huge clump all the time. Yep. They can separate if they need to and replace broken parts.
And airlocks in every room in case bad things happen.
And didn't they say they were going to defund the space station?
I thought they've already done that 1,000 times with NASA in general.
But then they refunded again, I guess.
I don't know.
It seems like that. I hear you.
Maybe we should just crowdfund it. We're good at that. We're really good at that. We can build a spaceship. What do you want it to look like? What series?
I think right now the private sector is what's keeping a lot of the space ingenuity going.
Well,
I think so too. Do you think anybody's ahead of NASA at this point, or is that impossible?
I don't know. I feel like with NASA, as far as the government backing it, they're either doing it really well in secret, or as far as the public goes, it seems like they don't really care. They go, "Oh, it's space. It doesn't really matter." When that's where our best resources could come from. So
Tyson was talking about if they just gave them another penny or two in tax money, it would do so much, and they don't.
It literally would. That could maybe fund a whole, drone or something, a whole bot, rover, anything. Who knows?
Well, SpaceX is doing really good. They're launching another Falcon 9 on Thursday from Cape Canaveral. What's the big rocket he's making again? I can't remember the name of it.
I don't know, but he's the man because he launched a Corvette into space. Was it a Corvette or was it just a hot rod?
It was a Tesla.
It was a Tesla.
And then Bezos is getting into the game with this company called Blue Origin, which I actually saw the building out there.
Yeah, they launched Mannequin Skywalker. Yeah, would you guys ride on that rocket that Elon Musk is building? The giant silver one that's gonna take people to Mars, and also like an airport, it'll take people all around the
Once
world.
my son is 30, then yes.
What's that?
Once my son hits 30, then yes.
Okay.
Just in case he's.
I'm excited for it, honestly. It takes some real balls to do what he's doing.
Oh yeah,
Everyone's
guy's a
saying,
genius.
yeah.
Sebastian says NASA, never a straight answer. The black budget is light years ahead of them.
That's nice.
That's right. NASA, never a straight answer.
Does anybody have that on a T-shirt yet?
Oh yeah, you can buy it from Secure Team 10. Tyler over there has that on a t-shirt.
Oh really?
Yeah, YouTube, Secure Team 10. You'll love it, definitely.
Okay, I'm gonna have to hunt that down through Bonnie later.
You know, a lot of people think that NASA is actually a public agency. It's something that was founded for the American people, but in reality, it's a government agency. And a lot of the stuff NASA even does now, despite what public appearance is a lot of the black budget stuff for DOD.
Department of Defense.
Yes. CIA as well, a couple other agencies, but DOD is one of their top ones. NSA, other groups.
Well, it's right next to was it MacDill? Yeah, it's right next to MacDill Air Force Base. And then they do a lot of stuff together, but mostly, they put on like this little dog and pony show for the public, but mostly they're doing some missions that we don't know about.
Oh, that's
Sounds
funny.
about right.
Did you ever hear about the Apollo 20 mission?
Nope.
Oh,
Apollo 20. You should look it up. Really, really interesting because they have footage of them going to the moon and finding a cigar-shaped. The purpose of the mission was Russia and America got together and took Apollo 20 together to the moon, and they were going to investigate what looked like a large spacecraft that had crashed. Apparently, what they found was 1.5 million years old at best estimate. There were bodies on the craft, and there is actual footage. It's really crazy because when you look at the footage, they have. If it's fake, then somebody found a perfect replica of the inside of the LEM, the Lunar Landing Module, and and also the Apollo spacecraft itself, because they film them in there. And then there's actually the Russian Alexei. Oh God, I can't remember his last name. Alexei something. He's a bald guy, and he's actually filmed here with the Apollo 20 patch on his jacket in the Apollo spacecraft en route to the moon. And you guys have to see it. It's unbelievable. Now, they do say that some of the footage in there looks like somebody added it and it's not real, but some of the stuff in there is unmistakably real. I don't know. Look it up. It's really crazy.
People always say fake footage, then you ask them to try to fake it, and they're like, oh, this is really hard.
Yeah. But it's Apollo 20. Like I said, if you go to Secure Team 10, I think he's the #1 space YouTuber or whatever. Aliens and such.
Yeah, makes sense. Do you guys think we'll find alien life forms on other planets that aren't intelligent?
Oh,
They're
hell yeah.
Just like, and I don't mean microscopic, I mean like at least plant-ish, animal-ish level.
100%.
I mean, that's what I kind of want to discover at some point, like us to, the humans finally discover that level of life form, because microscopic, it's like, okay, it's cool. Super intelligent, that's hard to tell because we don't even know if we're in their own game or not. But, basic animal, but on a different planet.
Rookie.
Like, okay, perfect.
Rookie, you're going to tell me somewhere in the universe there ain't a cockroach or a rat? We're going to find some.
There should be.
We're going to find some.
Some on Triton or Titan.
about the space meat.
Yes.
That's an expensive cheeseburger.
Jesse, there's some pictures of Mars. I don't know if you guys ever check out the pictures from like Opportunity and Spirit and all those, but there's one where they think they have a weird rabbit and it's actually a video. I thought that interested you also. There's one that they think they have like a giant spider / crab
Oh,
hanging on the
Jesus.
wall. You seen these?
Welcome to the Elder Scrolls.
It's hard to explain what the pictures are. That even NASA has trouble saying what they are.
Well, that's one thing with space that I think people don't always consider. It's that we always look for what we can determine as what we know, but with space, it's not what we know. It's unfamiliar. So some things may appear to be something, but it's something else. Like, especially life forms. If we ever find those, for all we know, I would say this. For all we know, there's freaking life forms in the sun. Like, we don't know what could live there because we haven't seen anything that would show that it could. But
If
until
an
we discover
energy
it, we
type
don't
of
know.
being lived on in the sun, it would be very strong, right?
Yeah. It's like there's even ones that could live on gas planets. So, like, presumably, they'd have to have some type of features that could obtain gas and move around and do something, but it's possible. The water bear can live in super, super extreme temperatures and different conditions. So, if that's one example of something on Earth, think about something not from Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Last time you were talking, Rookie, you were talking about, what was it, the moon of Jupiter, Europa?
Yeah. Yeah, how under that, based on its orbit, it's probably got an ocean under it because it's got the tidal pulling basically, and it heats up the core, kind of tears at it, so it's warm under there warming up for an ocean under it, like layers and layers and layers of ice.
Well, movement's what it takes for life.
What was that?
Movement is what it takes for life. Everything in the universe is
Yeah.
inherently cold, and heat is the only thing that is it's hard to find and it's dissipated easily. So that only comes from motion.
Right.
So that's
Motion.
life. Motion in
OG,
the ocean.
OG and I were having a conversation on whether or not Ryan Johnson would be an intelligent life form. And I said, no, he's not. So he says Ryan is unintelligent and alien, though, 2 out of 3. I like that.
That's a good point, but he's not cool, so it doesn't count in my book.
Yeah. So, guys, we have like 21 watching and 17 thumbs up. If you have not, please hit that thumbs up.
Oh, I can do that.
Hey, Big C was saying to not say it exactly. You know what I mean? Because of somebody listening like a robot. Like smash that like button, melee that thing.
Oh, right.
Smash the melee button.
Yeah, lick the button. Push
Yeah,
the
lick the
button.
button. Lick the button was Craig's phrase, and we kind of swiped it from Craig.
That'd be cool if we could like change the thumbs up to like whatever symbol we want for it. So have a
Give me the
or
finger.
whatever. That'd be funny.
Oh yeah.
I want mine to be some binoculars.
Hey, Brian.
Yes.
And everybody really. But what do you guys think about AI and its intelligence ultimately becoming like a Terminator situation?
I was just talking with Max Rebo about that today. He was saying that they got this thing that could snapshot the internet. It was either him or DJD. I was talking with both of them, and they said
like
that. yeah, he said that you could snapshot the entire internet and come back to it, and that the thing that analyzes it is basically almost like artificial intelligence right now. So my first thought was, when does this thing become Skynet and launch nukes on us all because we're degenerates?
I mean, I think that it's not impossible for that type of thing to happen, but I feel like that's such a easy scenario that it would be like, it's already been done before. They'll kill themselves soon anyway. Like, I'll just wait.
You think the robot would just be totally like complacent with that? Like,
no, he'd probably be doing his own shit on the side, but he'd just be like, they're dumb enough. They'll kill themselves soon. So we'll take over.
Meantime, it's building itself a body.
Well, it's like I always like to. I like to.
Sebastian says, too sober for this line of thought. Back after I fix this problem.
I was gonna say, did you guys see that Futurama? Was that Jesse?
Oh, nothing.
I was saying, did you guys see the episode of Futurama where Farnsworth was trying to prove that God doesn't exist, but an orangutan kind of proved that evolution is wrong, and then Farnsworth gets pissed, goes to this other planet. He like puts nanobots in the water, and then they eat up the oil, and then they evolve overnight and become like like Jurassic era basically, and then they evolve more and become humanoid creatures, and then like, oh, he's like, I created you, like that's impossible, and they pretty much have the same discussion of creation and stuff, even though he just created them, and they just evolve into super consciousness like the next day also.
Ricky, because you like Futurama, I'm gonna say I love you, man.
Thanks, bro.
There's not a single minute of that show or movies that I haven't watched like a whole bunch of times.
All right, Brian and Thomas, what are your guys' thoughts on the AI situation?
So I think the AI is, I could really believe it taking over the world in some way, shape, or form, because you have Alexa and you just have all these different AIs, and how long is it going to be till these AIs can learn who we are and what we are? I just believe that there's like a conspiracy behind the AIs. Just a crazy one.
Thomas, what are your thoughts?
What?
You just said it.
Oh, okay. Mox Rocks, what about you?
Well, I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of reading on white papers. And for those that don't know, white papers are publications by think tanks and other groups. And in their own publications, they have mentioned for years that getting a full-blown AI similar to Terminator is kind of their plan, if nothing else, for the military. And even right now, you can go on Wired Magazine and look from 2015, I believe. They even talk about the 5 ways that the NSA already has a Skynet, given not to the fictional level of the Terminator, but the thought process is already there. They are definitely working on an AI future.
And my thoughts. Well,
go ahead.
Sorry.
You put out videos, Max?
Oh.
Sorry, guys, y'all breaking up.
Do you put out videos?
I don't do any kind of actual video stuff, but on my real life Facebook, I have posted tons of stuff like this over the years. And you can find the article I'm even looking at Wired Magazine and Huffington Post. I mean, it's mainstream media stuff. It's not crap I'm making up.
Videos and get some subscribers and do your thing, man. You'll make a better
I wish
video
I had time for it.
Dude, you make a better video than what's out there. Come on now.
But I can tell that you're real red in this subject, Mox Rocks. Yeah, what do you think about the D wave?
The D wave?
Yeah.
Let me look that up. I'm not familiar with that name. Oh, quantum computing?
Yeah, it's the interdimensional computer, the quantum computer.
Oh.
Yeah, it's one of the more secure. In fact, it's the most secure system that they'll put out anytime in the near future. It uses quantum light technology to keep you from being able to hack its actual OS and get inside. I think it's a great technology going forward, but I think that the NSA already uses something similar to this.
And what about the rumor that it's interdimensional? Like they're gonna implement AI with that. What are the implications?
I think if they could implement AI with anything on Earth, they will. I mean, all you have to do is look at the Internet of Things and realize they want to put it into everything on Earth.
That's true.
Is that going to end up being our undoing?
Maybe.
If we're complacent. See, that's where all the useful idiots come back into play.
I think as long as the American people and the people around the world kind of sit on their hands, the government will do what it wants to do. It's kind of up to the people to put a stop to a lot of this crap. And that's really up to the people to make these moves, not the government to stop itself.
Do you think that if an AI took over, it would lead to like Logan's Run?
I think it could. I maybe not to the level they went, but I think a Logan's Run type scenario is something that the elites, the government, would love to see.
Like mandatory age you die level.
Yeah, like you hit 35 and go step into the light, it's over.
I'd be dead already.
I would say if you wanted to turn your camera off, if you click the screen and then click the camera button, then it should just put up an icon for you. If you're
I don't even have that button.
Well, I mean, if you click on the screen of your phone, then it should come up. There should be like a picture of a camera. Yeah, there you
There
go.
you go. My thoughts
Okay.
on
Guys, it's getting to be about 8 o'clock, so we're gonna have to get ready to end this for tonight. So I'm gonna let everybody kind of talk about their channel again before we go. We're gonna start with Brian this time.
Okay, well, my name is Brian the Observer. Anyways, on my channel, I do talk about things like martial arts, sound engineering, anything around Comicsgate. Talk about what I'm doing in Comicsgate, and I talk about just about anything I put my mind to. So you could check me out at Brian the Observer is my YouTube channel, and stay tuned. Go from there.
Flip.
Hey guys, y'all know me. If you don't, come check out my channel. It's Flipped Out, 2 P's, and the word doubt. Talk about Star Wars stuff, pop culture, do a little bit of streaming, and hang out with awesome people like these guys and Bonnie.
Mox.
Mox Rocks. I don't put out content. I just give it a lot of smart ass comments. It's been a lot of fun, guys. Really enjoyed this.
Jesse.
Hi, my name is Jesse Miller. I just started doing videos, or more likely live streams, on Jesse Miller at the Crow's Nest. If you want to go check out some cool new comic books, go to indiecron.com. And if you want to go up and scroll in the chat, you'll find that I dropped the link for something to feed the kids.
Rookie.
All right, I am the Rookie Critic, and I cover film topics, movie reviews, YouTuber appreciation videos, and the Rookie Corner podcast, of which I'll have my guest spin incorporated this Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific. And if you guys don't know him, he makes an awesome How the Prequels Should Have Been trilogy, kind of a cool project, similar to one I'll be working on pretty soon. And it's worth checking out. And he does other what ifs, like what if Iron Man would survive in the Game of Thrones universe, or would Thanos survive in the Star Wars universe and whatnot. So he's got some cool stuff, cool guest. And so that'll be this Wednesday.
Thomas.
Hey guys, my name is Thomas Gilkey. I just started up a YouTube channel recently. I'm gonna upload a review of the Lego 2 later tonight. Come check me out at just my name, Thomas Gilkey. Thanks.
And you all know my channel and what I do here. The biggest thing, I dropped a link in the chat, and I will go back and drop it in the description as well. Craig just posted a video yesterday, first one in a long time. So please go check that out. Give him some love over there. Make sure you sub to each other. Help each other's channels grow. Earlier, Entertainment Hacker was saying that the subs are not being counted for you on the algorithm anymore. Now it's the watch time. So just go check out the channel, leave a quick comment, and everybody shows so that way they can get that algorithm up on their channel as well. So y'all have a good night. I will see you all tomorrow for gaming, and then Wednesday we will be back for another conversation. You guys have a good night. Be safe. Have fun. And try to stay out of trouble, everyone. All right. Later,
Okay.
guys.